Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hey. Happy New Year to everyone. Oh, nice to see faces. So, would you put where you're coming from in the chat? Because every time we have different people, which we love.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you, Michelle. Yes. I know we have Australia represented. That is awesome. The US, Canada, Vancouver Island.
Pleasant Hill, California. Nice.
Yeah.
Hello, Pauline. It's been a while. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's nice to see you
Oh,
all. Nice to see you, Shirley and Lynn.
yay. Good. Well, yes. Happy New Year to everyone. And Leslie's not able to be with us today. So you get Jeff and I as your co-pilots for this one. And so, um, as always, we're so keen to have this whole feeling of community because for Expanding You, that's really very important. But we will be doing experiential exercises. So if you have some paper and a pen, that would be excellent.
Great.
Great.
Does everybody have it? Perfect. Everybody's ready.
Yay.
Excellent. Well, at Expanding You, community is really important to us. And it's through community that we want to be able to grow together, expand our courage, our love, our learning. And we know that that's going to make a major difference in the world. It's transforming ourselves individually is what ripples out to making the world a little better, a little more beautiful. So, and with that said as well, people have asked a number of times, can they invite friends here? Absolutely. This is a free community talk, sharing on topics that we find interesting, and most people in this group have given to us as like, hey, let's hear about this. And so if you have friends that you feel would be aligned with that or colleagues, please invite them. That'd be great.
Yep, we really appreciate your help with spreading the word. It's hard to sort of rise above all the noise and everything that's out in the world. So, yeah. Good. Okay. Well, today we have aligning intentions with your deepest desires. And we just thought this is a perfect thing to start the year with. And I happen to be one of those people that loves to do reflections and intentions and so on. Hands up, who here likes to do that kind of thing as a way to start your new year? Is that something that resonates? Oh, okay. But is there anybody here like me who has a bit of ambivalence about resolutions? Because when I look back at my journal, it was like, shoot, Lynn, how many of the same things are showing up year after year? Anybody got ambivalence about that? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Well, that's why we're excited about this topic, because how can we shift from things that we want to do, but we have mixed emotions and we get pushback within ourselves and so on. And we're going to look at a process to work on that. And I'm especially happy because I shared with Jeff one of my goals and I need some work on that. So that's where we're going to be starting. What I'm going to be talking about today, my piece that I want help with is I'm very interested in getting fit, but I am not a gym person particularly. I'm not what they call the gym rat. I do not like, the thought of running 3 miles or whatever. None of that has ever appealed to me. And the regimentation. And so with that goal, there's some internal struggle or conflict. And so we're going to be exploring how I'm holding that and guide you through some things that you can take a look at. Jeff, oops, you're on mute.
Perfect, thank you. To do that, we're going to pull way back to the big picture. We're going to bring in some content that will support unpacking what Lynn's just shared, and should be matching for many of you, having wants and shoulds kind of mixed together in your goals. So I will start off by sharing. There's the screen.
Yep.
And starting off with the big picture of the work we do at Expanding You, we believe that your identity is meant to evolve. And so this is our identity continuum that shows the constructed identity to the authentic up to the universal. And we're going to map this into today's topic. For those of you who haven't seen this in the past, the constructed identity is where what we develop basically in childhood and is where we live most of the time in our life. The authentic identity is always in us. It's there. It's just that the constructed programs are so strong that they show up habitually or unconsciously, and we're in them a lot. And so the evolution is to free yourself from those programs, the egoic mind, and move into the heart-centered place of the authentic self. And so in today's topic, we're going to look at, in the constructed identity, this is where we have a lot of external motivation. It's very driven by status and what people think of us and approval and all sorts of things like that. And the authentic self is much more internally motivated by values and the person you want to be. And so we're going to map this as we keep going further. Spectrum of motivation. So how are you being motivated? On the left-hand side, we're looking at external motivation. This is the constructed identity way of being motivated. And there's very much this forced have to, should, and I don't really want to. And so that's one way to motivate, which usually brings up lots of procrastination and avoidance and challenges, and then may get into guilt or shaming yourself. And the other side is the motivation that comes from internal and intrinsic motivation. And now this is when you want something and you don't have to have it. You want it. You have a passion towards it or a real draw towards it. And so you're very likely to get the internal motivated one. And in between, there is the middle. What Lynn was just sharing in her example. There is a should, improve her well-being and fitness, and there's a want to, but the two are in there and they kind of clash. So we're going to look at today how to clean that up and move your goal or your resolution one way or the other.
So along with that, what's so interesting is the whole idea of willpower. And for me, willpower was almost like a virtue or a value. Like some people have great willpower and other people don't. That's more how I was holding it. And then I was really disappointed in myself when I wasn't in the category of, somebody had great willpower. Well, I came across information and real research on willpower, which literally shifted my whole perspective. That willpower is like a battery. And like a battery, it can be depleted. And when I thought about that, it made so much sense. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what depletes willpower and what preserves it. Because in fact, we all have some degree of willpower. The thing that I was wanting is why don't I have willpower in all the areas that I need it? But the research showed the things that deplete it are when we're struggling with shoulds. So now we've got that internal battle. I should be doing this, but I don't really feel like it. I'm really tired. That internal battle that goes on with shoulds depletes willpower. So picture that battery just starting to drop. And then believing if I go there, well, I don't really have good willpower. So now I lock into a belief that says that's not my strong suit. And the other is it's decisions and dealing with conflict and so on. Every time we make a decision, we are using some mental power. And so I know as a young mom, when I was raising Tim and I was on my own, there were dozens of decisions I was making before we were both out the door. So I could, in fact, be depleted in my willpower before coffee break. And I think that's something so many people are experiencing. They've set their intention. They're not going to have donuts at the staff meeting today. By the time they get to the staff meeting, they feel like, God, I deserve a treat. So that's what drains willpower. So on the other side, what builds it? Well, Our willpower is preserved and it's even built when we're in alignment with what we really want, because we feel good about ourselves, we feel energized. It's like topping it right up. When we look at willpower, and there's more recent research that says, well, willpower actually can be built like a muscle. And so if you start to believe willpower isn't a given, I've got only so much, but I'm going to build it up, then daily choices make a difference. Each day I decide and commit to certain things, I can be building my sense of willpower. And that's where habits come in, because if you can groove certain things and they become a habit, then they don't drain your mental energy, your decision making, your willpower. And so some of us want to build more habits. And
Well,
yeah,
I was gonna say, I've heard before, I can't remember where I heard it, but it was talking, a documentary or something was talking about very successful businessmen, basically have, two styles of shirts, two types of pants. That's it. They get up and they pick whatever one. That's it. They don't want to make a lot of decisions. They want to put their decisions into what really matters in business. So they don't put a lot of them into clothes, for example. So they can create a pretty fluid routine in the morning so that their energy goes into the most important things.
that's right. So starting to streamline some areas, like you said, on choices. That's why when I went to school, I wore a school uniform. My mom loved it because there was no question about what you were going to wear. It was streamlined. So if that interests you, that's the whole area of building habits, which takes time, and you're not going to build 10 new ones all at once, but it's very helpful. The third element of building willpower is self-care. And because willpower, we're talking about, it comes from emotional energy, but it also comes from mental energy. When your brain is tired, it's really hard to have the clarity and the discipline to do the things you want to do. So, how are you doing in the areas of self-care? That's sleep, that's nutrition, that is some physical movement, because we really are meant to move. For many of us, we've discovered nature is a key element of nurturing and self-care. I know, Jeff, you walk, your mom walks. I mean, lots of people have found the power of being out in fresh air. Listen to the words, right? That really helps us feel more nourished, more appreciated. The other thing I would say, self-care, is hanging out with people who truly love you and give you some appreciation, because that's very nurturing. So making a point to touch base with people that you know have your back. So there's some thoughts around how do we build and preserve our willpower for where we need it.
I think too, Lynn, as I look at alignment here when we're talking about building willpower, when I'm really in alignment with something I want, it's just natural. And so on the weekend, Lynn and Leslie and I were working on stuff for expanding new programs. And Monday morning, I woke up at 5:45. I was just so excited to get on the computer to do all the stuff, and I did like 5 hours of work and it felt like 10 minutes. And because I was just like so in alignment with wanting to do it and excited about it, that it didn't take willpower, even you'd say, like it was all
That's
there.
right.
It was just
That's
effortless.
So let's come out of PowerPoint and just have a chance for people to check in. What's resonating with you or not resonating when we talk about this whole idea of willpower? Any observations? You can put it in the chat or you can speak it out, whichever you like.
I'm okay.
It really resonated with me because over the holidays, I was sick in bed with pneumonia.
Ah,
And so I thought, geez, quiet, printer. I'm at work, by the way, and don't tell anyone. But and what I took time to do was, since I was by myself, was to just take my journal and start thinking, here is a wonderful opportunity. I'm by myself to really reflect on what went well in the last year and what did not go well.
Right. So you didn't fight with yourself and be upset about being sick. You chose to make this is a time to do some reflection. I have to nurture myself. I might as well step into that. Thank you. Yeah, I see a piece. It makes sense. Is that Antonio? Yeah,
And
Antonetta. Sorry.
yes, makes sense
Yeah.
to me. Yes, because I also don't want to do exercise. I exactly what you said. I should, but then I don't want to. So yes, exactly. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Great. So
Yes.
Gwen said, I love the change of belief from a limiting view of one that grows willpower as a battery. Sorry, my screen isn't showing everything. Let me read that again. I love the change of belief from a limiting view of one that grows something like willpower, like the battery. For me, that was very freeing because I don't rant at the battery for running down on my phone or my watch or whatever. I know it's a natural factor. So now I can take more charge. Thank you.
Yeah, and Karen said, when I'm in alignment with what I want, I'm more invested in my goals. Absolutely. Really, really great.
Now, Michelle, you're right on the money of where we're going. So she said, I also think this is coupled with setting unrealistic expectations on habits that we want to change and take the moment to state that. Let's see,
As a
as a fact. Yeah, say more on that, Michelle.
Yeah, sometimes I feel I set these unrealistic expectations, and I almost have to take a moment to not beat myself up on that and just say that, was that really a realistic amount of time that you gave yourself, or is that really a realistic goal that you want to achieve? And that helps me to change the way that I'm maybe self-inflicting some of that abuse towards myself.
Well, and
That's
that's
it.
a great point. It might come back in later after we do the experiential exercise. If somebody's picked a goal that is really big, then how do how do you tackle that?
Yeah.
Down to smaller pieces, of course, so you can be successful along the way. That's a
Yeah.
great point, Michelle. So I'll bring it up again after the experiential exercise if that's how your answers play out.
Lynn, I'm like you related to going to the gym. I want to get fit, but I don't really want to go. And so I told myself like 3 months ago, I was going to go 7 days a week. And I didn't go at all because I kept finding excuses not to go. And then I said, I'm going to go 2 days a week because that felt much more realistic. And I started going 2 days a week and I started feeling, and I made myself go because I didn't really want to, but I started feeling a lot better. My back felt better. I was sleeping better. I looked a little bit better. Like I saw progress. Then I took it a little too far because then there was a day that I wasn't feeling well, but I'm like, oh, this is my gym day. So I get to the gym and I literally am gassed. I can't do anything because I'm not feeling well. And I thought, why am I here? And I tried to power through and I just couldn't. So I went home and took a nap.
So you see, it's such a journey, isn't it? And that includes the element of unrealistic, like Michelle was saying, 7 days a week. And then, so I really am excited about this experiential activity because I think it's going to really help me with something I really want, but have ambivalence about.
Can I just make a point?
Yeah.
So when you did the program back in November, I think it was,
Yep.
Leslie suggested to me to do it because I was really spooling on a story. So I did it, and the first night of the program was the first night that we talked about what can I control, and I love that. And I thought, well, I can control me. It's really all I have control over is myself. And I'm a person, I need numbers, I need visual, I need to see in order to stay in the game. So I have a spreadsheet and I enter every morning my information, and it's not anything fancy or big. It's just how many days I've been walking in a row, and I'm up to 972. And And Karen's always saying to me, because I look at something, I become overwhelmed, and then I'm like, screw it, I'm not going to do it because it's too much. And the thing that I should have it tattooed on my body because it's my life goal, it is chip, 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 a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit.
Yeah,
And then I'm successful.
that's right. Thank you, Gemma. That's fabulous.
That is a great share.
Gemma was referencing the Inner Balance program that we ran last November, and which we will be running another one in February. So we'll get that information to you. Okay, Jeff, let's go to experiential.
All right, everybody get your paper and pen. And if you have a highlighter, that might be good too, but paper and pen.
Ooh,
Okay. Now I'd like you to write down 4 or 5 of the goals or the resolutions you have for 2025. And Lynn is going to kind of be my example. She's going to share a couple of hers.
okay. So my 4 goals are more work and play personal balance. I want to have a better balance between those two. I want to be on top of my paperwork this year. I'm really excited about more travel, and I want to get fit. So those are the
Nice.
4 I identified.
Excellent. So everybody please write down 4 or 5. And once you're done, share one of them in chat.
Beauty. Okay, so we've got more outdoor activities from Annetta. Great. I'm with you there. Gemma sharing to remain conscious of my body and choices that I make. Lovely. Pauline, reduce my contact list. Great. Gwen, develop my friending skills. Oh, yay. You have a friend in Canada. Sherry's sharing more time with positive friends that nourish me. Beautiful.
Okay.
All right, good.
So we're going to move to the next.
And experience more joyful moments. Last entry. All right.
Right. So next, what I'd like you to do is we're going to talk about, again, the spectrum of motivation. I would like you to grade or rate each one of your 4 or 5 goals from -5 to +5. So I feel like it's very much an external thing. I have to, but I don't want to. It feels very forced. If it is, it's going to be closer to -5. And does it feel very expansive and you're passionate about it, very internally motivated? You really want to, but you don't have to. Hey, I'm missing the T.
Oh,
Oh, okay. So, and if it is, then that'll be closer to the +5 or anywhere in between. And once you have rated all of yours, please give me a thumbs up.
Sorry, guys. Can you tell me what I need to do to get my chat to go to everyone? It says direct message.
oh. You
Oh, so
should
where
keep-
it says direct message, you just click on it and move it all the way top, and it says everyone in meeting.
The little blue one, Shirley, where it says, maybe it says my name right now to Michelle. And instead of Michelle, you would just click where it says Michelle and you would say everyone.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you,
Okay.
Michelle. I'll go back to the scale for a moment for everybody.
Now, do you want us to put our numbers in the chat, Jeff?
I don't think so, because
Okay.
I mean, we won't know what they're attached to, but everyone's done, everyone's marked or graded. Yes? Good,
Yeah.
good, good. Okay, very good. So now we're going to go to the next step. What I'd like you to do is, I'd like you to look for one that's in the middle. So choose one of your goals that has it's closest to 0. That means it has a pretty good mix of should or have to, and I want to. Okay. Thumbs up. Everybody's picked one. Now, circle that one that you have, the one you picked, and we're going to go deeper into it. We're going to answer some questions on it, okay? So looking at the goal you've chosen, we're going to unpack and imagine what it would be like to get exactly what you want. To do that, I would like you to answer the first question. What would you gain by achieving this goal? And write down your answer, please. Once you've written it down, please give me a thumbs up. Or you can use the thumbs up reaction in your toolbar. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Gemma. Thank you, Antoinette. Antonetta. Thank you. Thank you, Shirley. Can't see everyone on my screen, so okay, thanks, Pauline. I'm hoping you've answered this one, and we're going to move to the next question. Thank you.
Jeff, before you do, I was
Yep.
just going to share.
Oh,
This is-
yours, Lynn. Yes.
Yeah, this is really perfect because as much as I wanted the Get Fit to be way +5, it's not. It's actually in the middle, which is very, which is probably exactly why I've been getting the results I've been getting. So
Right.
good. So I'm right there in the middle. That's the one I'm working on.
Okay, perfect. And did you want to share what your gain was, Lynn? Is that what you're offering as well, or no?
Oh, sure. I can share that. So
Okay.
what I would gain is more energy, better health, but also I think more self-respect because I'm actually doing something that I do believe in. I do want to age well. So there's definitely some gains.
Okay.
And some of them, I mean, I was in Chicago in July and I met some new colleagues and so on. And after the conference, I vowed the next time I saw those people, I would be in better shape. Well, I'm going to South Africa in October and I'm determined. So it's like, I want to look better than I looked, in my opinion, in July. So we've
Good.
got some external and as you would say.
Okay, Lynn. Thank you. So we're going to go to the next. What would achieving the goal look like?
Hmm.
I think I need help with this one. So when you say look like, what exactly do we mean by look?
Yeah, how would you know you've achieved the goal? What would the result of that look like?
Okay. So
In
this
Lynn's case, she might have a specific weight she's looking for, like a desired weight. She might have a waistline measurement she's looking for. She might have definition in her shoulders or something as sort of muscle tone or something. All these things could be ways that she would measure.
Yeah.
what it
Okay.
looks-
So it's almost like a measurement of it, right?
Yeah, a way to measure, a way that you know
Or
you've got.
gauge it or something. Yeah. Okay, got it.
Perfect. And once you've got your answer, thumbs up again, please. That'd be great. Perfect. Thank you, Cher. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, great. Great.
When, just for you to know, the thumbs up on the computer is under
React,
react,
or reactions.
got a little heart there. So if you want to use that.
Ah, there you go.
Look at you, multiple thumbs up. There you go.
Michelle, are you good? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Let's move on to the next question. So, looking at achieving it, how would that feel?
Mhm.
And again, if you're done, thumbs up. Be great. Thank you. Thank you, Sherry. Thanks, Gemma. Awesome, Karen. Thank you. Thank you, Antonetta. Good. Pauline, you're good? Okay, we're moving to the next one. Thanks, Gwen. All right. And the last question is, why does this goal matter? And once you're complete why it matters, please, if you feel comfortable, share it in the chat. Your answer just to the last one. Yes, Antonetta, afterwards, there will be an email that goes out that has the whole video presentation and a skill building worksheet that accompanies it. If I can achieve this, I can achieve anything. Oh, Lynn, you're mute.
I'm trying to be quiet when I'm not supposed to talk. But the beauty is you can go back to the recording, listen to that, as well as work with the sheets. So it's a beautiful kind of combo. So we've got some answers. Pauline says, if I can achieve this, I can achieve anything. Antonetta, to be healthy and to take no drugs. Wonderful goal. What I noticed came up, Jeff, for me was when you asked me to feel into it, I actually remembered feeling light in my body, the feeling like, and more fluid. And so that was lovely to tap into that feeling of fitness that I do know does exist. It was there at one point in time.
And why did it matter to you then?
It's how I want to feel in my body. Like it reflects that I'm looking after my body and that it matches the values I have. It's like I love taking care of my car. I wash it and vacuum it, and it just gives me lots of pleasure to honor and protect that beautiful vehicle. So it matters to me that way for my body to be the same.
Great, thank you. And so Jem is saying, because at 60, I'll be more in alignment with my body than at any other time in my life. Nice.
Yay, Gemma.
Exactly. It's a little
Okay.
bit how Lynn was saying too, another version of saying the same, right?
Karen is saying, better able to do the things I want to do. Oh, yes, that is so important. Have the energy, strength, whatever to do what you want to do.
Excellent. Everyone's good. We're going to move on to the next step. Okay, perfect. Oh, Sherry just put one in the last minute. Then
Okay, I read that. I'm overdue to let go of unhealthy relationships. Ah, that's an overdue, like yogurt is overdue, out of date. I'll feel more connected to my life, Gwen says. And Shirley says, I want to age gracefully and with mobility so I can continue to travel and enjoy life with my family and friends.
Nice, excellent. These are great.
Great
motivators.
Big heart.
Now what I'd like everyone to do is look at the answers you've written and notice if your answer is more to the external motivation. Like when Lynn was sharing, she's sharing about her getting fit, but she was also sharing, I want to look good when I go on vacation. And so she wanted to change something which was more of an external thing. She was wanting to look good, others to see that she's fit. So if your answer is more external, then mark an A beside it. Or if your answer is more internal and matches your values or your, the person you want to be, then mark a B beside it.
And I'm doing that for each of the 4 things that I wrote down.
That's right. Each of your 4 answers, notice which answers are more towards A or more towards B.
Jeff, can an answer be both?
Well, yeah, I mean, which one's more towards it? So is it split right in the middle? It's an A and a B? There's like, there's one answer is external, one answer is internal. Okay, sure, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's in that messy middle, isn't it, Jeff?
Right.
That we call right smack in the middle.
Well, because, for example, going to the gym, part of that is because I want to look good, which is A, right?
Yep.
I want to look good for other people, appearances. And it's also B because I want to be healthy. I want to live a long time.
Yeah.
Right, perfect. Good.
Yep.
Excellent. Everybody marked down? Perfect. Okay. So raise your hand if your answers were more to the B and less A. More B? Good. Okay. And if your answers were more to the, let's talk about that first. What does that mean? If your answers are more to the B, they're more to the intrinsic, they're more to your values, and that's going to be much more motivating. So less chance of procrastination will show up or avoidant or feeling overwhelmed, more sense of passion towards it. You'll have a pull towards it. And so if your answers showed up more to the A side, then that's going to bring up more resistance, of course, because it's more external reasons, less internal reasons. Yeah. So Michelle, if that happens, and for anyone, if this happens, because you're going to look at the rest of your goals or resolutions for the year and use the same process in each of them. Is what we're going to offer. So notice for any of you, some of them will show up more to the external than internal. And in those situations, either move this goal down in your priority because it's not intrinsic enough yet at this point, or look at some of those external reasons and see if there is an internal one that you can find that would be genuinely true for you. Don't try to force something or try to candy coat an external thing with something that's not true. Otherwise, you're lying to your system and you're setting yourself up to bypass your emotions. So we don't want to do that.
This was really interesting, Jeff, because I did your exercise and I just posted it there where I kind of answered your questions one at a time, walking through the exercise. So first I listed the 5 resolutions. And then after that, I responded to, does this feel expensive or forced? Individually, as you walked us through it. And then I really kind of focused on the ones that feel expensive and feel forced, and the ones that I've already been able to implement are really more internally motivated, and that's why I've had that success. Whereas the ones that is that combo of external and internal, it isn't until you've got me here that I realize that, wow, that's why I'm stuck with this. It's because there's a part of this that really isn't just about me, even though you think that, like number 3, paying attention to my physiological responses, I'm responding to them. So this is an example of me sometimes holding a bathroom bio run because I'm in a meeting or, whatever else. And so clearly an intrinsic, you think, to a certain degree, something that should be intrinsically motivated, but it's somehow very convoluted with the fact of what will people think if I'm late or I walk away and I turn my screen off and things. And so super enlightening. And it worked. Like,
well, I mean, when we shared back at the beginning, the constructed identity is, or you could say the ego in some ways runs the constructed identity. It very much wants to look good. It very much wants approval and validation and status and all those sort of things. And of course, they're all external motivators. And, so we watch people, follow that stuff in their life and become very successful. But generally, once they get there, they're unfulfilled or they're unhappy. They think this can't be it because it wasn't an intrinsic motivator that was passionately driving them. They might have been motivated by money or something else like that. So I'm glad you noticed it, Michelle. That was what the point of this is that people write a whole bunch of resolutions and then they don't achieve them. Why not? What's going on? Because they got this mix going on inside themselves. So thanks for sharing. Lynn, did you want to share a tip about how they can use this in their daily lives?
Yeah, and I just want to build on what Michelle said, which one of mine was deal with my paperwork, which is all over my desk and has been a chronic challenge for me because if I put it away, then I forget about whatever it was. So I want to have it out in sight, but there's the challenge. And Michelle, when you were speaking about how you can shift things, I rearranged my office. And I was so delighted with it. I did it over the Christmas holiday and it's more beautiful and I feel great. I'm not looking into the window over there. That's always, I'm having to close the blinds. That's really helping me now step into that goal of keeping the desk just a little bit clearer, and it's got a little bit of paper right now. And I know I'm really feeling like I don't like that. I want to shift it. So when we keep focusing on how to bring it back to internal, and the other hot tip I have is I sort of wake up and I have I want to do my fitness in the morning, right, as I start. And when we were looking at this particular table talk and going through it, when I stop and think of how I want to feel, the fitness, the energy, the lightness in my body, when I connect with that before I get into the getting my clothes on, my runners out, etc., it really did make a difference. So I'm thinking even you, Annetta, of, thinking about that walk and the nature, whatever's going to nurture you, bring that quality picture into your mind. So you're tapping into that energy before you try to execute whatever it is you're working on. So that's the hot tip we have for you.
Well, and linking back to Michelle, and actually something Sherry said earlier too, we were talking about the willpower and self-care. So, self-care would be you have to go to the washroom, go to the washroom. It's the not wanting to upset others or, that has you stay in the meeting, right? And Sherry saying when she was going to the gym and then all of a sudden she wasn't feeling well and she kept pushing herself to keep going. And you're actually going to have better success if you honor yourself, honor what your body's telling you, take the day off from the gym or go to the bathroom, whatever it might be, because you're going to be more grounded and secure inside yourself for the next step. So those are great examples when it might feel like, well, I'm not doing the goal today. Well, in the small picture, yes, today you're taking the day off. But in the big picture, you're actually caring for yourself in a way that you're going to be most ready to succeed on this goal without burning yourself out or over efforting and all of that. So great points from both of you. Thank you.
A long time ago, I was wanting to get more fit and I figured out it would help if I had a partner, a buddy. So this woman and I would meet on the corner and go, but I actually researched and talked to people and I put out that I was looking for people that had done walking or jogging for over 10 years. They'd consistently done that pattern. And this one fellow wrote me and he said, every day I jog, I stop at the point where I know I'll be happy to come back to it tomorrow. He said, so it's not about how far I go. He said, I might stop, go for an ice cream, but I make sure I stop feeling like I'd be happy to do this again tomorrow. So that was his, and he was over 20 years that he'd been jogging.
Yeah, stopping him from burning himself out.
Yeah, exactly.
Michelle, I think you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to build on some of this because I'm thinking back to Sherry's comment and I remember when she said that comment, I was thinking in my head, I'm at the point where I had to like really scale it back to just even telling myself, if I get 10 minutes in every so often, I'm going to feel good about that because I knew that was realistic for me. And when I do that, it feels so good and expansive and it doesn't feel forced. And then so the next time I actually want to do it more because of that expansive feeling. And then you talked about it as like, feeling fluid and feeling so good, but it just feels so good when you've just like, I've just knocked that. And so for me, it's almost like skilling these resolutions to, again, not like realistic, but getting to a point where you get that feeling. And then once you've got that feeling, then almost like hanging on to that feeling. And I want to do this because of that feeling.
Yeah.
And then I think that that's almost like where that internal motivation comes from again. And then it just lets the external stuff go to the waste side.
Fantastic. It's exactly like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm on this Kool-Aid or something where I totally bought into everything that you guys teach.
We like you buying into what we teach. Michelle. Thank you. Do we open it up for other takeaways, insights, Jeff?
Yeah, and just a reminder to all of you, like I mentioned earlier, please feel free to go back and look at the other 3 or 4 items on your list or other items you have on your list before today for your goals or resolutions, and just run this process with it. And you'll be able to find out which ones you really want, which ones you can actually shift to let go of more external and get more internal. And of course, that'll find that passion for it because it aligns with your values and what you truly want, and how you want to be in the world. I agree, Lynn, let's open it up. How is this whole process for everyone? Where did you start around resolutions before today's session? And where are you today now after going through this experiential exercise? Pauline?
What I found really helpful I started this a year ago when I go to Ottawa every year and my son gives me a new book. And the book he wanted me to read last year was Essentialism. And its sentiment was, on your deathbed, Ma, would you have wished you lived the life you wanted or the life other people expected of you?
Ooh.
And then the book he just gave me this last December was 4,000 Weeks. That's all we have in a lifespan. And so where he helped me see that I had too many over the years of contacts. I have people's birthdays and anniversaries, the anniversary of their someone's death. And each day, my question to myself was, whose face could I put a smile on? And what I realized in talking to Dean, that I had gone so extreme that I had to come back and say 6 people, who are the 6 people that would really would benefit or wouldn't benefit from you reaching out. So people going through divorces, one girl is in an abusive situation. And so over the last 3 months, I only reach out to them. My friends that are well, I leave it them to reach out to me. And then of course I respond.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much stress that has taken off me, because when I reach out and they tell me something, I feel I have to fix it. And so I'm finding it comes back to self-care.
Thank you, Pauline. That's great. And I just wrote it down. A life is 4,000 weeks. That's it.
That's cool. Think of it that way.
Other takeaways. Or things that stood out for you or landed.
I'm just going to start my video. I'm sorry, I've been moving around doing things and I didn't want to be distracting. For me, I wrote in the chat that I didn't realize how much I had moved into myself, and I'm quite happy with that, because I'm a total validation person. I love validation. I don't know anybody really who doesn't, but I own it. And yeah, and for me, that's a big thing to say. So I also wrote it in the beginning there, like I had a partner, Lynn, to start, and she bowed out 2 years ago. And it was to support her that I even started the journaling for the walk. And I'm like, you know what? I now, if someone joins me, fabulous, come along. However, the walk is mine, and it is the first thing I do every day. And I don't care, and Karen can attest, I don't care what happens around the house. I get my walk. It doesn't matter where we are or what we're doing. My walk is, to me, it's like medication.
Yes. You've made it a top priority.
I made me a top priority.
Yes, beautiful.
Yeah.
And clearly you love the results you get from it. So it's a passion that pulls you towards it all the time.
I'm a person who's ex-military. I have been dealing with PTSD for years, and I can honestly say it's the best thing I've ever done for my mental health. Walking without headphones too is phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah. We've got another lovely piece from Karen. I feel validated that what I've chosen as my priority goal is on the right track. I also noticed how my main goal impacts each of my other goals. Clarity and alignment. Nice.
Beautiful. Would anyone else like to share what you've noticed or what the big takeaway might have been for you in today's session?
The big takeaway has to be the part that it has to be internally motivated.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't thought of it that way, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And then another takeaway for me is the willpower can be built like a muscle. Because I always just believed I didn't have willpower. So I was weak or not enough.
Right, Shirley. And then we feel not as good as a person. It's like we don't have honesty, or we don't have one of these. This now puts it in a different category.
I very much grew up the same way. Some people just have lots of willpower and some people don't. So it's nice to see that's not true.
The thing that I think I downplayed was how much I actually do deal with in a day. How many decisions, how many choices, so I wasn't honoring what was like how I was using up my willpower. And so when I don't slow down enough to really go, hey, Lynn, by lunch, you've done X, Y, Z. You know, I'm not really appreciating myself in the way that I think is nurturing. And so that's a really great reflection for me to tune in and appreciate how many things do get done in a day.
Yeah, very true. It's easy to miss that, isn't it?
Okay, any other last thoughts?
I think maybe everybody's here as part of the Facebook group, but if you're not, please, we'd love you to join the Facebook group. And I can put a link in the chat. If anybody want it, give me a thumbs up. And okay, I'll take care of that.
Thank you, Antonetta. We also love to hear your ideas for what you'd like us to be investigating, researching, talking about. We're having such fun doing these table talks. And I think they're going to end up being a great collection. Imagine if all the topics that we've covered were put together into a collection. It would be very cool, I think. So if you have some topics, you have the opportunity to give us some ideas. I know there are a lot of great creative minds out there.
Yeah, I love the topics you guys share with us.
Mm-hmm.
Please keep sending them in. You can
And
send them into email too, by the way, at hello@expandingyou.com. Perfect. Or share them on Facebook or private message us.
Great.
Yes, Gwen, you'll get the recording. We'll send out a recording probably tomorrow, and that'll have, like I say, the worksheet and everything that's in here, and you can watch it at your own leisure. You'll get an email for it.
And these are going to be consistently on the third Thursday of each month. So you can kind of book your calendar, share it with colleagues, friends. A lot of it has some really key ideas that we teach in all of our programs. So, you know, if people are really wanting to go deeper into their own personal growth and evolution, these programs are going to give them in little bite-sized bits some really key core ideas. So feel, as we said, pass it on, please.
And for any of you that have people in your life you think would enjoy and benefit from Inner Balance, February 11th is when we're running the next Inner Balance. There'll be some emails that come out from Expanding You over the next few weeks. But a heads up for all of you, that's when the next program will be starting.
Mm-hmm. We had some really outstanding feedback from the last one. And so we're very excited with the changes we made to have more videos, more examples, more demos and things like that. So our goal is that people don't just get knowledge, they get skills. We want, you know, to really have the tools to live life well. And it takes the practice. And I think with practice, we often do better when we feel like we've got a group supporting. We're all working on a skill building sheet each week, and you build up a great set of skills plus that internal balance and resilience. So that will be coming up. Okay, so that's it. Okay, Antonetta, you had trouble with getting the last video. I'm not sure why that would be. Let's see how you do with this next one. And then if we've got it figured out, we can maybe loop back or whatever.
I'm going to write your name down. I'll look it up.
Yeah. Michelle's saying table talks really help to keep the skill after the Expanding You sessions. So thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle. Love that you're doing the work. Love that you're getting the results. That's what we are all about.
And for Antoinetta, check your trash or your junk. Sometimes in the beginning, I had to make it a favorite before it would come into my inbox. So I'm not sure if that's something for you.
Very good.
Yeah, good point. It can easily go into spam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And some things do go to spam and other things don't as well. So you have
Right.
So take a look.
Thank you for that, Michelle. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Appreciate your guys' input in sharing your insights and just bravely speaking up and engaging. Love it. Thank you all.
Starting the new year with some great resolutions and goals. We'll be able to check back and see how we do.
Yes.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Pauline.